Not all calories are created equally. And on today's video, I'm going to share with you the macro approach to eating, which is very effective in helping you reach your weight loss goals. In fact, if you follow this way of eating, you will 100% guarantee yourself results because it's one-to-one. In other words, it's what you put in is what you're going to get out. And this approach just so happens to be what actors and actresses use, Olympic athletes and high-performing athletes use in order to produce the body that they're trying to create, actually. So this may or may not be for you because it's going to take a little bit more effort. You will have to actually track and weigh and measure out your food in order for this strategy to work. But if you're willing to do this, you're going to produce amazing results in your body. All right, so let's get right to it. So what are macros? Macros are just short for macronutrients, which are basically fat, protein, and carbohydrates. Alcohol and water are also considered macronutrients, but there's no actual nutrients we get from those. So really, the macronutrients we really care about are fats, proteins, and carbohydrates. Well, this little diagram is going to show you how many calories are in each gram of protein, carbohydrates, alcohol, and fat. And what you're going to notice is protein and carbohydrates both contain the same amount of calories per gram. You're also going to notice that alcohol contains more calories, 7 calories per gram, and fat contains the most, 9 calories per gram. So alcohol is nearly 2 times more calorie dense than protein and carbohydrates. Fat is more than 2 times more calorie dense than protein and carbohydrates. So what we first want to understand is there's an 80-20 rule that lives here. And that rule is if you eat more protein and carbohydrates overall on a daily basis, you're going to be consuming a lower amount of calories naturally. And it just so happens to correlate perfectly with the calorie density approach of eating, which I share in this other video here. Well, to go a bit further with this 80-20 idea, 80% of your calories should be coming from protein and carbohydrates, and 20% of your calories should be coming from fat. And more specifically, 50 to 60% should be coming from carbohydrates, and 20 to 30% should be coming from protein. And then, of course, the 20% coming from fats. So if you follow this ratio, it will lead you to a nice balanced body overall. And the difference between the 50 to 60 grams of carbs or 20 to 30 grams of protein really has to do with your specific goals and your exercise and activity levels. So if you're actually trying to get stronger and put on muscle, your ratio will be closer to 30% protein and 50% carbohydrates. If you don't really care about putting on a whole lot of muscle or building up strength, then you can just simply stay with 20% protein and 60% carbohydrates. However you want to use this, as long as it sticks within the idea that 20% will come from fats and 80% comes from protein and carbohydrates. You really can't go wrong, actually, if you stick within that little ratio there, okay? So let's actually calculate out some numbers for you so that you can actually see what this looks like. And we're going to use the example of a daily calorie ceiling number of 1,000 calories a day. So let's just say your total energy expenditure number is 2,000 calories a day, meaning your body uses 2,000 calories a day just to maintain your current body. Well, if you want to lose 2 pounds a week, which I explained in another video from last week, 2 pounds is 7,000 calories. There's 3,500 calories per pound. And so if you subtract that on a daily basis, that's 1,000 calories under each day. So your daily calorie ceiling, if you want to lose 2 pounds a week, has to be 1,000 calories a day. So when we use that number and we do the calculations for calories per gram, here's what this actually looks like. So for the general one, let's calculate out carbohydrates first. Carbohydrates will be 60% of your overall calories. So all you do is you take 1,000, which is your daily calorie ceiling number, multiply it by 60% or 0.6, and that gives you 600 calories. So now you take that 600 calories and divide it by 4 because there's 4 grams per calorie, right? So what you're going to end up getting is 150 grams of carbohydrates each day. That's what you're going to want to stick around, okay? Same thing with protein. You do 1,000 times 20% or 0.2, and that's going to give you 200 calories. You divide 200 calories by 4 grams, and that gives you 50 grams of protein each day. The last calculation is going to be for fats, and that's 1,000 calories times 20% as well, or 0.2, and that also gives you 200 calories. Well, when you divide the fat part here, it's going to be divided by 9 instead of 4, is 22 grams of fat is what you want to stick around. So your macronutrient ratio, if you have a daily calorie ceiling of 1,000 calories a day, will be 150 grams coming from carbohydrates, 50 grams coming from protein, and 22 grams coming from fat. Very simple. And whatever your daily calorie ceiling is, you just do the math based off of this 80-20-20 ratio. And as I mentioned before, if you are looking to build muscle and strength and you're working out on a regular basis each week, you might want to increase this to 30% protein, 50% carbohydrates, so that you have enough protein building your muscles very effectively each week. So I hope this whole idea makes sense. If you have any questions on this, just drop them in the comments below or reach out to me at support@mindbodyevolution.com. And I'll be more than happy to answer your questions and or help you calculate this out for yourself. Okay. So I hope this was very helpful, and I'll see you in the next video.